Okay, welcome everybody. Second part of our evening. I'm excited to have Deb Rosen with us, who is finishing HaShas right now. Very exciting. I remember when Deb started many years ago, and she said, I want you to teach me one-on-one. I want to learn Gemara. I don't know anything about it.
My whole speech away from me, by the way.
Fine, I'll stop. Anyway, Deb is persistent. I didn't have enough time to teach her at that point one-on-one, but we did get to learn some after. And I think it's amazing, number one, that Deb came from really not a lot of background. She'll tell you more about that. And persisted and said, I want to make this happen. And I'm going to do whatever it takes to make this happen. And you'll see starting Yevamo now that starting in Yevamo is not the simplest thing. It's not so bad like people say, but it is quite a challenge. And to have started then and continued and kept it up, very, very amazed by your persistence.
Thank you for having me. 7.5 years. Crazy. So as Michelle said, I made Aliyah. Well, I made Aliyah 7.5 years ago, and I didn't have much background. I learned Torah, some Mishnah, and I had just turned 40. And my children had started school knowing little to no Hebrew. And I decided they're going to have a challenge, that it's time for me to have a challenge. Other than being in Israel. And I'd always wanted to learn Gemara. I tried in the past and it had not been successful. And I sat next to Michelle in shul and I said, I want to learn Gemara, will you teach me? And she said, well, I don't really have the time, understandably, but come to the Daf Yomi Shir, come. And I said, I don't have any knowledge. I don't know what I'm doing. She said, come, take it day by day. Well, she failed to mention that the first day I walked in was Yevamo, the first Daf of Yevamo. Well, first, it's my favorite, I will tell you that. I'm jealous that some of you get to do it for the very first time. I think your first Masechet is always your favorite one, I think. I don't know, it's like a special place in my heart. And I remember sitting down and learning about the place of women for the very first time in Talmud. I was very angry. I had a lot of mixed feelings about how women were seen as objects and moved from Ruvain to Shimon to Levi. And not by these beautiful charts that Michelle has shown you, but like by little munchkin men, little people, which she moved around. And I felt so angry and such mixed feelings of women were objects. Women didn't have a say in their lives. Women, we really were grouped with Ktanim. I mean, I was angry. But then I decided after reading If All the Seas Were Ink, and speaking to Ilana, she was amazing. She said, you have to step back. You have to step back and see how women were portrayed back then and how far we've come. So I decided instead of focusing on what we were back then, to start focusing on what we've become and where we have to go. So that's what I did. And day in and day out, I learned because I wanted to prove to myself and to my children, specifically my daughters, that we as women could learn Gemara. It was a place as it was exclusively for men and that we weren't allowed in. But now we're allowed in. And not only are we allowed in, we are the teachers of Gemara. We are the leaders. And that is something that I'm proud that my daughters will get to see and that we are part of. And then came the Siyum. And I was blessed to be part of the committee that brought it together. And as I sat, and some of them are here tonight, it's amazing, unbelievable, as we encountered so many struggles and it was hard to get there. And it was eye-opening and definitely a learning process. When I looked around the room and saw over 3,000 women, was it, of all ages, coming together to celebrate women learning Gemara, it was, I don't know how many of you were there, but please God, it will happen again and you'll all get to experience this. It was unlike anything I've ever been at before. And then when the women got up and did their Siyum, there must have been a handful of women. I mean, I don't remember, I think 10, 20 women. And I thought, that's it. I have to be one of those women. I have to get to that point where I can stand up and make a Siyum on HaShas. I have to do it. Because I've pushed my children not to quit and to keep on going and to fight and to be who they are and to keep learning. And I have to do it to show them that they can do it. And to show them that, once again, whereas women were objects, they can now make their own decisions. whether it's prenuptials, peskei mahava, things that they can do to have more control of their lives, so too can we learn that we can have control of our lives. We can decide how much we learn and when we learn and what we learn. And that really kept me going. And Yevamot is an exciting Masechet, and I really, really hope you enjoy it. And someone asked me what I'm doing next. And after much thought, I'm going to keep going, but I'm going to keep going in Hebrew. That's my next challenge. To 7.5 years, yes. Yes, exactly right. 7.5 years, I will give the speech in Hebrew because that's my next challenge. I'm going to sit through shir after shir in Hebrew, and hopefully I'll get it all. Great. So with that, I'm going to do my now 3 times. Please bear with me with the Hebrew. Step number 1. Hadran alach masechet chagiga v'Talmud Bavli v'Hadran alan. Datan alach masechet chagiga v'Talmud Bavli v'Datan alan. Lo nitna shem minach masechet chagiga v'Talmud Bavli v'no nitna shem minan. Lo ba'alma da'aten ha'aten v'lo ba'alma da'aten. Hadran alach masechet chagiga v'Talmud Bavli v'Hadran alan. Datan alach masechet chagiga v'Talmud Bavli v'Atach alan. Lo nitna shay minach masechet chagiga v'Talmud Bavli v'no nitna shay minan. Lo ba'alma hadain v'lo ba'alma da'ate. Hadran alach masechet chagiga v'Talmud Bavli v'Hadran alan. Da'atan alan masechet chagiga v'Talmud Bavli v'Atan alan. Lo nitna shay minach masechet chagiga v'Talmud Bavli v'no nitna shay minan. Lo ba'alma hadain v'lo ba'alma da'ate. Yehi ratzon milfanecha Hashem Elokeinu v'Elokei Avotenu, shetehei tortcha emunatenu ba'alam hazeh v'tehei imanu la'alam haba. Chanina bar papa, Rami bar papa, Nachman bar papa, Achai bar papa, Abba bar papa, Rifram bar papa, Rachish bar papa, Sochev bar papa, Ada bar papa, Dru bar papa. Ha'erev na Hashem Eloheinu et divrei tortcha b'pinu b'fiot amcha beit Yisrael. V'nihiyeh anachnu kulanu tzetzaenu v'tzetzei amcha beit Yisrael. Kulanu yodei shemecha v'lomdei tortcha lishma. Mo'oivei tachimenu mitzvotecha ki la'olam hi li. Yehi libi tamim b'chukecha leman lo evosh leman lo eshkach b'kudatecha. Kivam chayateni baruch Adonai Eloheinu Baruch atah Hashem lamdenu chukecha, amen, 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 sela va'ed. Yehi ratzon mifanecha Hashem lohei shehei kishem she'azrani l'sayem masechet chigal v'Talmud Bavli, kein ta'azreni l'hatchil masechtot u'sfarim acherim v'l'sayemim. Lemod u'lalamed l'shmor v'la'asot v'l'kayem et kol divrei Talmud Toratcha b'hava. Uzachut kol atanaim ha'moraim u'talmidei chachamim ya'amod lanu uzvaenu shelo tamush ha'torah mifidu u'mifi zarenu ad olam. V'yitkayem banu v'hithalech halcha tenahei otcha v'shifcha tishmor alecha v'hakitzotha hi tisichecha. Ki bi yirbu yamecha v'yosifu lecha shonot chayim orech yamim b'yimina b'smola asher v'chavod. Hashem oz li'amo yitain, Hashem yivarech et amo b'shalom.